Then comes the great age of discovery. This extensive overseas exploration by the Europeans. They were fueled by the growing interest of external physical world, desire for trades, and also new markets, colonization, and slave trades. The Columbian Exchange, or the Grand Exchange, was the widespread transfer of human population, cultures, animal, plants, products, and between the American and the Afro-Eurasian hemisphere in the 15th to 17th centuries. Along with the advancement in astrology, mankind developed technologies to build ships, the stronger ships that could sail further, longer distance, and lighter ships to maybe carry a larger supply of food and necessities during long distance traveling. The most important of all during this Columbian exchange seem to have been the diseases, which is the byproduct of this unintentional exchange. Also, the tropical areas were being explored and giving rise to the epidemic of new diseases. So here are some examples of the exchange of diseases. Syphilis was among the first global diseases. So here's syphilis. In 1493, Columbus' crew brought syphilis back into the old world upon returning from the New World. And the first known epidemic, global epidemic of syphilis, then occurred in Europe in the next few years during the Renaissance in 1495. Also, the other example is the landing of Spanish into the New World, the present-day Central and South America, that has introduced diseases such as smallpox, flu, or typhoid fever, plague, and so on and so forth. That is believed to has wiped out 95% of the population, of the indigenous population, that have led to the downfall of the Inca Aztec, for example. Though it is written that the subsequent infectious diseases outbreak were due to unusual climatic conditions, scientists believe that it was, in fact, this first introduction of smallpox that have led to a poor living condition, in addition to the wake of the invasion itself. And as we can see here, written in the label, the Mexican population did not recover to prehistoric levels until the 20th century. Other examples include the reduced in number of Aborigines in Australia, and when British explorers brought in smallpox in 1788, also when syphilis was introduced into Tahiti. Again, returning to the historical views of the causation of infectious disease, Fracastoro was an Italian physician, a poet and an astronomer, and also a geologist. He was also an important historical from the 16th century. First, for his naming of syphilis that was derived from his famous poem, when he described a legend of a young man, a very handsome young shepherd man named Syphilis, but with the punishment from the god. He was punished with a terrible disease and was suffering syphilis. And secondly, Fra Castro was very famous for his revolutionary theory, the contagion or the seed theory, that infectious diseases were transmitted from person to person by a minute invisible seeds, and that were specific to individual diseases and then were self-replicating and acted on bodily humor to create disease. He proposed 3 modes of transmission of contagious disease. First, by direct contact from person to person through contact with fomites and also through the air. Although very revolutionary at that time, he did not realize that these seeds were actually microbes. Okay? But his theories were respected far ahead of time, and but it would take another 200 years later to prove this theory following the invention of microscope.